Welcome to Panther Parade, the podcast where we're supposed to talk Panthers hockey, but sometimes we don't. Here are your hosts, Alex Lopez, Jake Langsam, and TJ Peterson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Panther Parade. I'm your host, Jacob Langsam. Here with me is my co-host, TJ Peterson, and possibly Alex Lopez. You'll just have to wait and see if Alex actually joins us today. That's the mystery for later in the episode. But joining us today, Bally Sports Florida Panthers host. Welcome back to the show, Miss Jessica Blaylock.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. Now, the first week of the Florida Panthers season has come to a close. A bit of a different feel to the team as last year, though not dissimilar in terms of success for that first week. So, Jess, we wanted to kind of get your take as someone who's around the team all the time and talks to the players, talks to the coaches, talks to everyone. What's kind of the vibe around the team right now?
I think that the vibe is really positive, especially considering that the Panthers have been able to get off to a good start. That's something that we saw them do last year, which was so critical in setting them up for long-term success. And of course, starting on the road this season, having the first 3 games on the road, I think it gave everybody an opportunity, especially considering there are some new faces on the team. Kind of gave the team an opportunity to pull together, especially being on the road, get to know each other a little bit better, and really bond early on. And I think that's one thing that's kind of stood out is despite the fact that there's been several changes as far as player personnel, there seems to be a really, really good chemistry. And I'll even go back to that first game against the Islanders after the game, Matthew Tkachuk saying he feels like he's been on this team for a decade already. So, I think that was the biggest curiosity coming into the start of the regular season was how is this team going to click? Are they going to be able to click early on? Is it going to take a little bit of time considering they have a new head coach, some new faces, a new system? Is it going to take some time to click? And it seems like it really has clicked right away. So I think the vibe on the team overall is really positive, and you already see early on a very connected dressing room.
So there are some first impressions that we obviously need to get. Like you said, there are a ton of new faces in the locker room, in and around the locker room. So there are a few that we wanted to kind of focus on, and we're going to start with the one and only Matthew Tkachuk, who seems to be in the middle of every single event that has happened so far this season. Great start so far in terms of stats. What are the first impressions of Tkachuk for you, for the locker room? What have you heard? How are people feeling about Matthew Tkachuk?
Well, first off, I think the thing that you love most about Matthew Tkachuk is he's the guy that you absolutely love having on your team because you know how much other teams hate having to play against a guy like that. And he's been everything as advertised, right? Not just the skill, not just the speed, but the grit, the incredible attitude that he brings to the ice, that level of compete, that level of intensity, that ability to get under the opponent's skin. And, I think that you already had a team that had some toughness, having guys like Patrick Hornquist and Sam Bennett and Ryan Lomberg. So I don't think anybody questioned whether or not the Florida Panthers were a tough team, but he's a different kind of tough in the sense of it's almost hard to explain. I guess in the sense of just really, really being able to rattle an opponent, not only with the way he plays, but the attitude that he has out on the ice. And I think we've seen it early. I mean, look at that game against the Sabres. After the fired, you've got so many of the Buffalo players coming over and wanting a piece of Tkachuk, and that's exactly what you want from this guy. So I think you see right away why Bill Zito targeted in on a guy like Matthew Tkachuk. Everything that you expected to see from him, he has brought to the ice so far, and he is not disappointed. And I'm telling you what, I think this guy is going to be so much fun to watch in a Florida Panthers uniform. for the next several years. I think he's already quickly become a fan favorite.
Oh, yes.
I think fans are already loving every second of getting to watch him play. So early impression of Matthew Tkachuk, already getting a massive look into what we thought that he could bring to this team. He has absolutely lived up, maybe even early on exceeded the expectations of everything that you've wanted to see from him.
I will say I've already made a very firm decision. The reverse retros were released or announced today. They'll be released next month. I will be getting a Matthew Tkachuk reverse retro. I've decided that hands down already. On pace for over 120 points already, I believe. Retro. What was that, Alex?
But I'm getting a Matthew Tkachuk reverse retro.
I have a feeling
there's a
lot of people getting a Matthew Tkachuk reverse retro.
Yes, I think there was a bit of I don't want to say there was like a target on his back from fans, because how can you replace a guy like Jonathan Huberdeau, who's been with the team for over a decade, who was also a fan favorite, trying to just make that swap. It's hard for a guy like Tkachuk to pick up fans that quickly when that's who he has to live up to.
Well, and I think one thing about that, you have to understand that they're different players.
Oh, totally.
I get it. Because I remember I was on the road for baseball when I heard about the trade. I was in Pittsburgh. I remember sitting in the hotel lobby, grabbing a snack after the game, and seeing the tweets and getting text messages and getting phone calls that Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar had been traded to Calgary in exchange for Matthew Tkachuk. And of course, like, you have an emotional response to it because Jonathan Huberdeau, of course, a cornerstone of the franchise for so many years. The story of Mackenzie Weegar being such a late round pick, and what he had done, how hard he had worked to become a part of a top defensive pairing for the Florida Panthers, and two just genuinely awesome guys that I loved working with. So of course you're going to have an emotional response, and I expect fans to have an emotional response too. But when you remove the emotion out of it and step back and really evaluate the trade as a whole, it made so much sense, especially after you saw what Calgary gave to both Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar, and then what you were able to get back. Considering, Tkachuk had over 100 points last season and 42 goals.
I believe,
it's not like you're getting a scrap heap player in return by any means. So yes, it's hard to replace a Jonathan Huberdeau. It's hard to replace a Mackenzie Weegar. But when you now see everything that Tkachuk is bringing and step back and look at everything kind of big picture, you understand why the move was made.
So you've covered, in addition to hockey and the MLB, you've covered the NFL before as well. I'm curious because I find him to be such a fantastic interview, just like always really good on TV. How high is he on the best quotes list of all your time in working in sports? Because he's got to be pretty high, right?
Tkachuk?
Yeah,
he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I mean, I've also covered the NBA. So, I mean, I've really gotten a pretty good taste of all four major sports and different sound bites, and talked to a lot of different guys, a lot of different personalities. And he definitely ranks pretty high on the list so far. And I mean, especially just even stemming from his introductory press conference, has there been a better quote than, I hate Edmonton, but I hate Tampa even more. It's that moment right there immediately solidifies the relationship that he has with Florida Panther fans, in my opinion. Everything he said in that introductory press conference could have been put on a t-shirt or a Florida Panthers bumper sticker, or, he's great. He's awesome. And, I'm telling you, like I said, we're going to have fun for the next, 8 years?
8 years. Yeah.
Watching this guy play, listening to him talk about the game, and seeing the way that he interacts, especially with the teams that he's playing against.
I am very excited to see Matthew Tkachuk back up that quote tomorrow night. That's gonna be a lot of fun to keep an eye on. I almost want to put up like a fake bet on Twitter about which Lightning player is most likely to go after him first.
It's gonna be Pat Maurice.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to keep an eye out for, because I mean, we've kind of been building up to this matchup with the Lightning ever since that press conference, and so to get it so early on in the season, it's going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night.
I just want to say, if Tkachuk is out there against Maroon, I'm not so worried about a fight. I'd be worried if I were the Lightning about giving up a goal, because that's a major mismatch right there.
I almost think they have to put out Maroon against Tkachuk just to try and get something going, though.
Yeah, get the Panthers offense going.
Tampa's obviously, and look, I don't think Tampa at the end of the day is a 1-4 team. I think we've seen some odd records early on this year. I think we've seen some really, really odd games early on this season. I would never, ever underestimate the Lightning in a second. So I think this is going to obviously be a heated contest. It always is. I love that this rivalry has taken on so much life. I love that it has become so testy. I love everything about it. I love everything about it. And you better believe everybody, especially Matthew Tkachuk, is going to be ready to go for that puck drop.
I will say, just for the sake of posterity, my bit for the season, I do think that Tampa is genuinely a 1-4 team. I strongly believe with all of my heart and all the sincerity and no sarcasm whatsoever that they will finish 8th in the division, where they currently sit. But moving on from
all right, we'll see how that plays out. We'll come back to this in a couple of months. And hey, I would not be mad about it. I would not be about it.
Well, the only thing I'd be mad about is that we wouldn't get some playoff revenge, but we'll get to that later. And by later, I mean like April. The next first impressions that we would love to get your take on, of course, is the new head coach, Paul Maurice, one of the longest tenured head coaches in the NHL in terms of his head coaching career. Obviously not in terms of the team he's currently with. What are your thoughts on Paul Maurice, his style, how it may have changed from his long time in Winnipeg? What are you seeing from Paul Maurice that you've liked so far?
I love that he is really easy to talk to. I love that he's very media friendly. He enjoys talking to the media. He enjoys answering our questions. And he's just been a lot of fun. I mean, I'm still getting to know him. I'll be honest, because I was still covering baseball. I didn't have the opportunity to go to hardly any practices or a lot of training camp, just because of my baseball schedule. So I do still feel like I am getting to know him, but my early impressions of him have been, you can feel so comfortable around him right away. You just immediately feel at ease. And I think that has to stem to the players. And, I had a chance to talk to a couple of them right before opening night and asked a few of them just what it's been like so far playing for Coach Maurice. And I think it was Gustav Forsling who told me, he just always knows the right thing to say. He just always knows the right thing to say in the moment, whether it's, to get you fired up, or whether it's to calm you down, or whether it's to encourage you, or, whatever it may be. He just always knows the right thing to say at the exact right moment. And I think, feeling that level of comfort early on with somebody who just kind of automatically puts you at ease, knowing you have a guy who has your back, knowing you have a guy who kind of knows the right thing to say to get you going in whatever circumstances. I think that, that's all positives so far. And I think the team is still in the process of maybe figuring out their identity a little bit and seeing what they're going to look like this season. And, the big thing that Paul Maurice always talked about was, adding defensively, but not subtracting offensively and trying to find that balance. And obviously, with Aaron Ekblad being out, unfortunately, long-term, they've already had to play a couple of games without Brandon Montour. They kind of had to figure out some things early on, as well as figuring out their identity and what they're ultimately going to look like as a team. So I think to have a guy like Paul Maurice also in all of that, who has so much experience, is also a really good thing to have behind the bench, because he has seen everything, right? Like, he has seen probably every situation, every circumstance. And so to have a guy who has a familiarity with whatever a team is going to be up against, I think that's another, really good thing to have behind the bench for the Florida Panthers.
I was actually listening to another podcast this morning that was talking about the coach's role in motivating a team when they're a little off their game. So having not heard much about what Maurice is like, how the players feel about him more specifically from his time in Winnipeg, from his time in Toronto, whatever, I just haven't heard much about how players feel about him, just kind of how fans feel about him and what his record is. So hearing that players are comfortable around him, that he always knows the right thing to say, really plays into that idea that at the end of the day, the coach's job is to draw up strategies and decide who plays when, but motivating his team to play their best is ultimately one of a coach's most important responsibilities. So that's very comforting to hear. Maybe you're the next great coach, Jess.
For sure. Sometimes I'm guessing sometimes has to be the most difficult balance for a coach, is knowing when to push and when to back off a little bit. But I think that seems to be one of the things that has stood out early on about the way the players have responded to Paul Maurice is it seems to be that he has that balance, right, of knowing when to say the right thing at the right time, when to push a little bit, when to back off. But again, like I said, it's still so early on in the season. I'm sure there's still a little bit of Paul Maurice getting to know the ins and outs of each one of the players, especially because there's so many different personalities on the team. You look at a guy like Alexander Barkov, who's not going to necessarily be as vocal. He's going to try and lead by example on the ice. Then you have a guy like Patrick Hornquist, who is going to be vocal. Then you have a guy like Ryan Lomberg, who brings the intensity and the physicality. And then you have a guy like Tkachuk, who's going to be involved in everything. And, there's so many different personalities on the team. So I'm sure coach is still learning the intricacies of each player, and learning, how to balance each guy, what makes them tick. I would think that would be one of the biggest challenges of a coach, especially a coach who is in his first season with a team. But he seems to be handling it really well so far.
Yeah, and hopefully this leads to some stability. I mean, the guys who have been around a while, like Barkov and Ekblad, I think this is Barkov's 7th head coach.
Yeah, they've been through quite a few.
His last night was his 600th game, and he's been through, I believe, 7 coaches from Kevin Dineen to Paul Maurice, something like that. So hopefully we do get some stability out of this as well. So we've got a couple of less on ice hockey things that we wanted to talk to you about, and a little bit more fun. Not that the on ice hockey hasn't been fun this season. The Panthers are doing something a little bit unique for the NHL. They're not the only team doing it, but they did start with the individual goal songs.
Yeah.
This season. We've only had the one home game so far, and we had 3 goal scorers. In my opinion, the best goal song is Carter Verhaeghe's.
It's so
I'm definitely
good.
not biased.
So perfect for him, though.
It really is.
Especially with his nickname being Swaggy. And
exactly.
All these different variations of swag. It's so perfect.
And I think we're all very excited to start hearing everyone else's goal songs, but we don't want anything spoiled for us necessarily. What we would like to know, Jess, is what would your goal song be?
How crazy is it that you asked me this? Because I was literally just randomly thinking about this earlier today. What would my goal song be? And I am a classic rock girl all the way. Led Zeppelin is my all-time favorite band. So I would probably do When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin.
Starting from the beginning or starting from which point of the song?
Yeah, because that harmonica is like, the drum beat is awesome. Then the harmonica comes in and you just can't help but get pumped up. And plus, like, the opening lyrics, if it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. Like, could you somehow kind of mean it like, if it keeps on raining goals, like levee's gonna break? I don't know. Maybe you could almost like kind of interpret the words in a sense too of goal scoring, but I feel like I probably would go with When the Levee Breaks by Zeppelin.
That's a great choice. I love the meaning behind that top of the first line also.
Thank you. Or Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix. And the move from World when he's doing, Foxy Lady and like the
that would be so good. So what you're saying is, not only would you have a goal song, you would have the choreographed goal celebration while the goal song is on. That is next level.
Yeah, so I feel like that could be pretty good. Is it? Yeah, when Garth in Wayne's World is like doing little like ears along with like the fox ears along with the lyrics from Foxy Lady. So I'll go with either When the Levee Breaks by Zeppelin or Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix.
Great choices either way. Just on a more personal note, also, my sister got me a birthday present years ago, which is a guitar strap that is a replica of Jimmy Page's.
Nice. That is awesome. I have a drum set in my home, and
do you play that?
I use the term play very loosely. Like, I can carry a beat. I'm not good at fills, but my one goal in life is to master Moby Dick to pay tribute to John Bonham.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's going to take me the rest of my life to learn Moby Dick, and then that might still not even be enough. But it's one of my goals in life is to learn Moby Dick on the drums.
That is
awesome.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Everyone listening, I think most of you probably learned something about Jeff Blaylock today.
That I love Led Zeppelin. That
you're a drummer.
That I can very, very poorly play the drums. But I will try and get better now that I have more time to actually practice.
Yeah, now you're down to one team instead of two.
And down to what?
Down to one team for the rest of the year instead of two, and not every day. So so we'll have you on at the end of the season, and you're gonna bang out Moby Dick for us.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I should be able to learn Moby Dick in just a matter of months.
No big deal.
We might have to schedule that for like February before the MLB really kicks back up.
Yeah,
so look out for our All-Star break special where Jeff Blaylock solos the drums for us.
I might have to schedule some private lessons with Bonham. He can
or
help
do it on Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
That would work too. That would be acceptable. That would be an acceptable substitute. And the one final kind of off-topic question that we really had is like we mentioned earlier, the NHL revealed their reverse retros for this season today. Obviously, the Panthers have a fantastic jersey with the palm tree logo, the light blue primary. Love it. Besides the Panthers reverse retro, which one is your favorite?
Yeah, so I need to maybe take a better look at all of the ones around the league, because I think the only two that I really took a good look at besides the Panthers were the Avalanche and the Stars, and wasn't a huge fan of either one of those in particular. So to be determined on which ones I like after the Panthers. I think I was just so obsessed with the Panthers reverse retros that I just didn't even have time to look at any others besides the Panthers. I love the palm tree and the hockey stick, like just crossing it's just so perfect. And then that blue, it's just so good. I don't know. I think they just look so cool. Like, I just think they're so good. So, yeah, it's going to be hard for any other team to even come close to the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm very excited that we're finally getting some use out of that logo. It's one of the best logos in the entire NHL, if not all of sports.
It's so good. Like, it's just, yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, like I know it was dropped when they went to the New Jerseys, and I think the Panthers even themselves realized pretty quickly, oh, this was a mistake. We need to bring this back, and now it's really back in it. I mean, it's not even just Panthers fans being biased. Like, everyone who's doing like, oh, reverse retro ratings has the Panthers either as the best one or one of the top 3. And that's essentially 2 years in a row. Like, you guys are good at this, Panthers. Like, maybe one of these should just be a permanent 3rd jersey.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it in action this season. It's gonna look sweet.
Yeah, ESPN and The Athletic both had the Panthers reverse retro as the best among this year's batch, I believe. So I think we're kind of coming up on time with you, Jess. But before we let you go, where can people find you? Obviously, Bally Sports, but let us know where can people find Jess Blaylock?
So on Twitter at Jess Blaylock, on Instagram at Jess L Blaylock. And I'm getting too old for new sorts of social media. So those are pretty much the only 2 that I'm active on. I can only handle so many social medias at one time. So Twitter and Instagram is the best way to connect with me.
It's interesting because the victory dances from a couple of seasons ago would make some great TikTok content.
Okay, so just a little bit of background on the victory dances and why I had to stop. Unfortunately, gosh, this makes me sound even that much older. So I had some pretty serious lower back issues. I had a herniated disc that was impinging upon my sciatic nerve, and literally, like,
oh my goodness,
I was in rough shape for a really long time. So just the state of my back and my back issues did not lend to me dancing in any way, shape, or form. So I had to retire them, like, just literally for my own health sake. But I'm really going to try. I'm in a better place now physically. So I'm really going to try, maybe for special occasions this season, every once in a while, for old time's sake, to bust out a Florida Panthers victory dance. So
yeah, well, that is something to look forward to.
Be on the lookout.
And in the meantime, maybe you can convince Chick, Jovo, or Randy to fill in for you.
Yeah, well, we got Jovo involved in one of them one time, so that was a lot of fun. So yeah, maybe I'll see if like Goldie wants to sneak in on one every once in a while, or Randy, or yeah, we'll get the whole gang involved.
Make George do them.
Well, George was an active participant. Frank Fort was an active participant. So yeah, there were a lot of willing participants in order to help me make the victory dances that much better. So we'll have to make something happen at some point again this season.
All right. Well, look forward to the return of victory dances, and make sure to tune in to the Florida Panthers all season on Bally Sports. Jess Blaylock, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks again to Jess Blaylock for joining us to just talk a little bit about the first week and some more interesting and fun personal things. Always fun having Jess on the show. I like that we're going to be able to call Jess a friend of the show now that she has been on more than once. Moving on to less fun stuff, though, Aaron Ekblad is injured.
This is my nightmare.
The one player who we needed to stay healthy will miss at least 10 games. It's a groin injury of some sort. The Panthers did put him on LTIR, recalling Lucas Carlson and Matt Kierstead, who have both already played for the Panthers since this injury announcement. Really not ideal for the Panthers to have Ekblad out, but he can't seem to go a year without being on LTIR.
Yeah.
And this one's a groin strain, which is essentially a tear in the muscle. That's not good. Those things linger.
It is a new injury for him, though.
Yeah, it is a new injury. That's the only thing you can say.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that you could say in the positive column is that it's a very good time for him to get hurt, because not only is it the very beginning of the season, but the schedule coming up is really soft.
Yeah. We play 8th place Tampa tomorrow to kick off that soft schedule. Well, we did have Philadelphia without him also, but that's already in the win column, so whatever. 8th place Tampa. Then the Panthers also have games against Chicago, Arizona, San Jose, Anaheim. I mean, not great teams, at least over the next 2 weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks, which should eat up most of the time that he's out, hopefully. So, yeah, I mean, as far as logistics are concerned, this is not a bad time of the year to lose Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah, but there's no good time with this team. We've already talked about it. They're so shallow on D. I don't think it's quite as bad as like the national media and the pundits would lead you to believe, because guys can step up and play a role in this system, like, and really become very useful. It's not that difficult. We've seen, Gustav Forsling get picked up off waivers and become a useful player. Last year, like Lucas Carlson played like 45 games and was very useful. He's back. Probably should be able to replicate at least some of the success he had, especially when his regular partner in that time, Brandon Montour, comes back, because he did miss the last 2 games, but the injury is not supposed to be as significant. He's probably going to be back in the lineup soon. Maybe not tomorrow, today, if you're listening, but soon. And Matt Kierstead, friend of the show, noted goal scorer, almost got another one yesterday. He's somebody that, he can play and in the NHL. He's already proven that. And he's not necessarily a guy that you're going to be able to count on for 30 minutes a game and, power play, penalty kill, everything, but he's functional. And I want to talk about, and I'm sure Jake wants to talk about it too. One guy that we really should be bringing up in terms of taking defensemen and making them really functional is Josh Mahura, because his first 4 games as a Panther have been really nice. You've been able to see how he fits into the system that they play very well in terms of what he's good at, what he's not good at. They can emphasize his strengths, hide his weaknesses. He's asked to carry the puck out. They love it when a defenseman can carry the puck out. He doesn't have to do a whole lot else. Defensively, the forwards get involved. He doesn't have to be always responsible for 2 or 3 guys. And he's going to get a few more goals, I think, because he, even in Anaheim, was getting involved in the offense. And he's somebody that reminds me of Brandon Montour more than Gustav Forsling, honestly. I think he's going to be more of that kind of defenseman.
Yeah, I have been a big fan of Mahura so far. Well, he leads all Panthers defensemen right now in expected goals for percentage. So that's neat. He and Gudas have been really good together also. Yeah. And maybe that has to do with his Brandon Montour-like play style, that Gudas can kind of sit back a little bit and give Mahura a little more freedom to roam. Interestingly enough, Mahura and Montour were teammates very briefly before Montour was traded to Buffalo. They were teammates in Anaheim. And yes, Josh Mahura was in the NHL at that time.
Oh my God, they were teammates.
Oh my God, they were teammates. I am very excited to make that joke anytime we talk about anyone. Like Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk, we could do the same thing. They did play together, though. Actually play together. I don't think Mahura and Montour were ever paired up, but they were on the Anaheim Ducks and playing in games for the Ducks at the same time. So there is also the familiarity there. But yeah, no, Mahura's been really impressive. Hasn't really made any significant defensive mistakes. Has shown to be pretty solid in the offensive zone. Yeah, could be a really, really nice little reclamation project for Bill Zito.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it again and again. The Panthers needed to find a defenseman and hit on one. They didn't really bring, Mark Stahl, I think we can all agree, they did not hit on that one. He is awful. He got burned again yesterday.
I want to talk about him later, though, too.
But yeah, Mahura looks like a really solid pickup. And now with Ekblad out for at least 10 games, like you need Josh Mahura to be something. And so far, it's been a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think that once Brandon Montour, not Brendan, sorry to Mr. Montour, but he's going to be able to slot back in on the power play and do a lot of things offensively that'll help take the load off of the shoulders of the forwards. And he's somebody that's important to this team right now too. So it's going to be good to have him back. But playing against that Flyers team, coming off the second night of a back-to-back, it was a pretty good spot for them to not have either guy. And the Boston game was the opposite. Like once you saw them go down to 4D, you knew that like it was going to take some kind of PDO miracle for them to win that game, because come on, Boston's a really good team. You're playing with 4 defensemen. Your 2 highest paid defensemen are the ones that are out. Like that, come on. You can't expect them to do much more than they actually did in that situation.
Which is interesting because I think the third period was their best period of that game.
And they almost did it. Like they had a shot. Like, I mean, Tkachuk with a bad cross-ice pass, like they had a shot.
Yeah, I mean, that was still a really difficult maneuver by DeBrusk to score from there, and he did it. But, there was a lot of iffy moments in that game, and Bob did keep them in it to an extent. But let's talk about somebody that made a notable play in that game, or maybe didn't make a play that was notable in that game, and that's Mark Stahl. In every single game so far, other than the Philly game, I guess, he's made, in my estimation, one just extremely boneheaded mistake that directly led to a goal. In the Islander game, it was the turnover that made Gudas commit the penalty, where the Islanders scored on the power play. Then in the Buffalo
I don't know
game,
if you can say that that's a direct.
But I mean, the turnover was so brutal, and they scored on the power play. Like you got to hang the goal on him.
I will blame everything I possibly can on Mark Stahl, but yes, he turned the puck over, but he didn't force Gudas to commit a penalty. He didn't force.
He pretty much did though, because otherwise it was going to be a goal. Gudas had to take
a very
bad
play that led to some bad things, but he wasn't directly responsible for the goal. Not falling down while back checking against Alex Tuck.
I'm just going to say, look, let's not argue about this. It was definitely a bad play, but let's move on and talk about him falling against Alex Tuck, because that looked like a oops, I slipped on a banana peel, so I don't have to show everyone how bad of an angle I took. Like, oh, it wasn't my fault, I slipped.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Alex, are you positing that Mark Stahl fell on purpose? Just so
yes, absolutely. To look less bad. Yes, absolutely. Players do that shit all the time in every sport.
That is quite the take.
They do that shit all the time in every sport. Like that was I'm gonna look really bad.
No, there's no way. There's no way that he couldn't have made a good enough play to at least make that a harder shot.
No, because his angle was so bad. Tuck was already past him.
And he's a slow skater also.
No, he was
Tuck would still have beaten him, but he at least could have put some pressure down.
No, his angle was so bad. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Jacob. His angle was so bad.
And the funny thing is right after that, there's about 4 periods between that and whatever the heck was that attempt at defending David Pastrnak, where he just completely freezes. It's like my internet connection. It just completely stopped.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything. There was 4 periods where I felt like he was actually looking okay. And I was like, oh, maybe he is going to be a way more functional than I had been saying. He's not going to be that liability. And then, it showed up again. And I'm going to cop to not watching the Flyers game, at least most of it. But I heard that he was on the ice for a couple of goals against in that.
He was bad, yes.
Yeah.
Lucas Carlson, Matt Kierstead, are these guys all-stars? No. Are these guys top 4D even?
Do not disrespect Lucas Carlson like that.
I love Lucas Carlson, but The point is that I think that you can get more out of those guys and pretty much anybody else that has reached what's close to the NHL level than what you're getting out of Mark Stahl right now. I don't really think that you can ignore the fact that he's just giving up goals by himself on a nightly basis.
So Mark Stahl is the only Panthers defenseman below a 50% expected goals for percentage. I want to repeat that he's the only Panthers defenseman below 50%. He's sitting at 41%. So he's not just below 50. He's like bad. He's also one of only two Panthers defensemen below 50% Corsi.
Yeah.
The other being Aaron Ekblad.
But
Ekblad has an expected goals for percentage above 50, which means that he is either on the ice for very good shot attempts for, or he's on the ice for not good shot attempts against, or some combination thereof. So even though his Corsi is below 50, it's nice to see that he's not allowing quality chances.
Yep.
And then there's Stahl, who is sitting at 41% expected goals for as the only defenseman below 50.
I think that after we talk about that, because it really is becoming an emergency, I think like it really doesn't seem like it makes sense to talk about anything else. If we're going to talk about guys on the roster, how they're doing, how they're not doing, it's like, okay, how much longer can they justify putting this guy out there if he's going to be so bad on, a certain play every night that his defense partner, no matter how good they play it, they can't make up for the mistake? We're going to have to see, I guess. I mean,
Mark
he's going
Stahl is
to stay in the
also
lineup.
third in time on ice.
Is it worth talking about how good Tkachuk has been, or would you say it's basically what was advertised?
Yeah, if we're talking about how good and bad certain players have been, we knew Mark Stahl was going to be this bad too, and we just spent like 10 minutes on it.
Fair enough, yeah, fair enough.
Matthew Tkachuk fucking rules.
Yeah,
he's
so
leading all Panthers forwards in Corsi for percentage, is second in expected goals for percentage behind only Eetu Luostarinen.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, Tkachuk has been fantastic. Everything as advertised. He has 5 points, I think, maybe 6.
5 or 6, yeah. I think he might have
2 assists. I think he had 2 assists last night.
He did have 2 assists last night. He's got 2 goals or 3.
2.
Let's just look. 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points over 4 games. And again, take everything we're saying with these stats with a grain of salt, because the sample sizes are very small.
Mm-hmm.
But they are also more or less showing kind of what you'd expect. You would expect Stahl to be on the bottom. You would expect Tkachuk to be on top.
Matches the eye test, which I refer to stats more than the eye test, because generally it's way harder to just take all of the footage and remember it holistically in your brain. Getting that one number that you can just reference real quick. It's, Mark Stahl, 41%. Rather than me being well, there was that turnover in that game and he fell down in that game and blah, 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 spending 45 seconds. And by the time I fit 15 seconds, you want me to shut up already. That's why the numbers are, so useful, because it's really hard to remember everything. But, if you could, the eye test would be the best thing to use, but it's just not possible. But it matches up with the eye test in terms of Stahl being bad, Tkachuk being good. I could tell right away, in the first game, it's this guy wasn't being dragged by Gaudreau and Lindholm. He's for real.
Fun fact: the Florida Panthers' third line has not yet conceded a goal.
Yeah, it's been really good. Colin White especially. Really good.
I've been very impressed by Colin White. It's been a good week for the Panthers. Good week to start the season. And we have a relatively soft schedule coming up. I don't want to jinx anything by saying, we're going to fucking go 11-2-1 without Ekblad, but relatively soft schedule coming up.
We'll learn some goal songs.
We will learn some goal songs, and we'll talk about those more as we get more of them.
Yeah.
But for now, I want to talk about reverse retros.
Can I talk about one more player? One more player first?
Depends who.
Sam Reinhart.
He's just snake bitten right now.
Yeah, I don't know how much there really is to say about him. He needs a little bit of puck luck, but he's been decent.
Real quick, A, the line combination with Barkov and him doesn't work. B, just unlucky. A or B?
Yep. Both. Porque no los dos.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, Barkov set him up for a goal yesterday. It was wide open net and he missed the net, but like I just don't think that's the best match. Like Barkov has not looked dangerous so far. Reinhart really hasn't looked dangerous. Like
he's looked dangerous. It's just a matter of none of the goals go in the net. The
problem there is you can't put Sam Reinhart on the fourth line, and the second and third lines have both been incredible.
Fair.
So what do you do to fix that?
Fair. Yeah, if the third line hasn't given up a goal yet, you don't break that up. But right. I just want.
And the second line has been fantastic with Tkachuk and Bennett and Balcers.
And like you said, small sample size. Maybe Reinhardt's going to score a hat trick tomorrow against Tampa, and Barkov's going to get the primary assist on all three. We'll see. Reverse retros. I didn't want to stay on that topic way too long. ESPN ranked the Panthers reverse retro as number 1. The Athletic ranked the Panthers reverse retro as number 1, I believe. That might not be true.
I think they did.
Yes, they did.
It's really outstanding. And I know that this is not a visual medium, but if you haven't seen it, first of all, how are you listening to this podcast if you haven't seen it? But it's fair to say we're all big fans.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I love the color. I hated the jet blue jerseys. I love what they did here.
Yeah, way better.
The blue is fantastic. The palm tree logo, as the palm tree stick crossed is awesome. If I have a single complaint, the logo is slightly too big for me. It's just a little too much. But I'm really.
I have a feeling that opinion will change when you see the jersey in person.
Fair.
Not that I've seen the jersey in person to be able to claim that so confidently, but
yeah, the jerseys in person, they'll be bigger. The logo is the same size on every jersey.
Fair enough. And the model who was wearing it was a smaller girl, so that's probably why it looked so big. So yeah, you guys are probably right there. But I love it. It's the meme with from Homeland, Homelander from The Boys, just saying perfect. Every detail, just perfect.
My one complaint would be I don't love the shoulder patches.
I actually do. The FLA with the sun.
Not for me, but to each
really
their own.
Like that.
Alex, your thoughts on?
I mean, the shoulder patch is fine to me. Again, we're nitpicking when we're talking about the shoulder patch. Like considering what some of these other teams did, talking to you Chicago, talking to you Tampa, talking to you Detroit.
Oh, I love Tampa's.
Tampa's is garbage. So let's get
horrible.
into this. So what I really wanted to get from you guys on this little segment was just the best and the worst. We're not going to go through all 32 of them. That would take we would need our own episode.
So many of them are just it's fine.
Good. Right. So many of them are good. I want to talk about the great ones and the terrible ones.
I got a terrible one. Calgary.
What's with the diagonal stripe?
It's like a misprint. It looks like the jersey got
printer ran out of ink.
No, it didn't. Look,
not even that. TJ, have you gotten a close up look at Calgary's?
Yeah.
There's the stripe on the bottom, and then just the random section of it that's slanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Wyshynski.
Here's a draft of the Flames reverse retro. Oh, good. We're gonna fix that stripe before it ships, right? Before what now? That's what it feels.
And the irony is that there's probably some Calgary fans hate listening to this episode for some reason. Reminder: we don't hate Calgary. We hope Huberdeau and Weegar do really well. I personally think it's fine. I think it's in that category of jerseys that aren't worth remarking on.
If they didn't have the stripe on the bottom, if it was just a normal stripe, it would just be in the fine category.
Right. Other than that one weird sash piece, it's a good jersey.
You know what jersey I hated is Montreal's.
I disagree.
Is fine.
There's so many
blue.
There's so many things to draw from in their history. They had a bunch of retro jerseys. I think it was 10 years ago, where they did the barber pole design, and they did the one that was blue with the 2 stripes. That was a darker blue, a royal blue. This one is just, I don't get it. Somebody said Expos,
it's
but it doesn't
Expos.
really remind me of the Expos. There's not enough red.
I like it.
It's just blue. It's fine. It's not great. It's not terrible. The Montreal jersey is fine.
I liked the Montreal. I thought
that is not one that I was that I thought we would talk about.
It's my least favorite. It's just because, like, what is this?
That's your least favorite?
What is this? Like, what am I supposed to think of this?
All right. Here are the absolute trash. Like, we'll never look at them again as long as I don't have to. Mm-hmm. Reverse retros for me this year.
Yeah.
Tampa's garbage. Absolute garbage. It's disgusting.
I love it. So bad it's good.
You're wrong, but whatever. St. Louis. Not a fan. I think
St. Louis looks awful.
I'm with Alex.
I don't like the color. I don't like the design. No.
It's different. That's what I like about it.
But not good different.
I wouldn't say bad different necessarily. Yeah, to each their own, obviously.
St. Louis is gross to me. Like that's not a good jersey to me.
I wouldn't go out and buy it, but I think it's kind of cool.
What were the other two? Detroit and Chicago, obviously. What the hell are they doing? Other than copying each other's homework.
They have designs in the past that were pretty similar to the ones that they rolled out as reverse retros, but I mean, like, they're in the past for a reason. We forgot about them for a reason,
right? So Detroit has some pretty sick jerseys. My list. That's like those are the four that are just awful to me.
Mm-hmm. Another one that I thought was bad is Columbus.
Columbus's is on the whatever list. Like, I also have a list of ones that are just boring, and Columbus is on that list.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered the worst ones.
All right, what were your other favorites then, Alex?
Well, real quick, I mean,
Alex likes Anaheim's.
Yes, for
real
sure.
Quick, though?
No, I was gonna say I don't like the Oilers, that logo. I'm just not a fan of the logo. But
yeah, I feel like it's a missed
love that
opportunity.
logo. Right, I love that logo, but I don't feel like the jersey did the logo justice. But the logo is good enough that I'm not considering the Oilers jersey among the worst.
It honestly looks like an item you'd find in a Pokemon.
Copy paste everything Jake just said. Winnipeg.
Yes,
love the logo. The colors.
Actually, no, I don't agree with that. I think Winnipeg's is good.
Okay.
Okay, let's go over some of your favorites. Vancouver, I loved it.
Yeah, Lumberjack, that's a nice one. That's something different that actually works.
Yep. I loved Anaheim. I mean, I'm a sucker for OG
anything
Ducks
Mighty
jerseys.
Ducks.
Well, anything Mighty Ducks, but like the OG Ducks jerseys were just so great.
Yeah.
Teams go in shifts with their logos. I think Anaheim is finally realizing that's the jersey they need to be putting out there because that's the jersey that looks the best.
Yeah, but that's the jersey they had when Disney owned the team and had the rights to the Mighty Ducks logo.
Yeah, but this is what everybody wants. They're gonna get there eventually.
They just have to buy the licensing rights from Disney.
They have the licensing rights. That's why we see the logo right there.
Mm-hmm.
True.
The one that Disney has is the District 5 jersey.
The one that says Ducks.
Yeah, which they actually allowed the NHL, because remember, the guys wore them last year when the new show came out.
True.
I'm going to be boring and say what everybody else is saying. Washington's is great.
Oh, Washington's
just
rules.
Awesome.
It's hard to make a bad Screaming Eagle jersey. That's just beautiful.
Yeah, and then in the Capitol building colors, like, oh my God, that's it's too bad that everybody else agrees because that thing is going to be sold out like that.
I personally love Minnesota's. It's very similar to what they did in Reverse Retro Round 1.
It's exactly the same thing. They just changed the color.
And I loved it then too. It
was very good.
I love the homage to the North Stars. And I really like the Wilds logo. So like that's just a win for me. Minnesota is among the best in my opinion.
Alex, another favorite?
The Sharks jersey.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
The Golden Seals. Love it. Love it.
Classic word mark. Like it doesn't really get any better than that in terms of a word mark. They could have done a little bit more with it, I think. It's a little bit boring, but like the word mark makes up for it. The other one that I had in my favorite tier was Vegas. I just think it looks really good.
A lot of people are hating on the Vegas one, but I actually think it's nice.
I think it's great.
It's way better than the last one.
Yeah, the red one, I don't
like. Red
was
gross.
It's fine. I mean, I don't think it's great. I think the coolest part of it is the fact that it glows in the dark and we'll never see that on the ice.
Wait, it does?
But they'll turn off the lights though when the team comes out onto the ice.
Wait, what part of that glows in the dark?
Right around
look it up.
The Vegas. There's like stars.
I think some of the
patches
so cool do as well. I think something else does. Yeah, but that's going to be cool when they skate out and the lights are off. They're going to glow in the dark. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool. That actually elevates that to be one of my favorites.
Jake, do you have any other favorites?
I do.
Let's go.
The state of California really knocked it out of the park with the reverse retros. We've talked Ducks, we've talked Sharks. The Kings also did a great job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another team. I think this should be their primary logo and color scheme. Like this is just so much better than the generic.
I thought you were about to say a different team. It's in the same tier as like Boston, and maybe there's another one, but I can't think of it. It's like, this is great, but it looks almost exactly like what you used to wear. So it doesn't really get me that excited. Whereas like last year's Arizona, it takes the design that they used in the past, but they did new colors that looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of other reverse retros that did something similar to that got me really excited. And I love just go ahead and do a throwback that works. Like looking at you Islanders, that just works. Nothing exciting about it, but like you don't have to necessarily overcomplicate it. Another example of that, Pittsburgh, the RoboPen.
Yeah.
Looks really good. Looks great, actually.
Yeah, but we've seen it before.
Yeah, but I think it looks so good that I'm willing to put it in my like just below best tier. The three I have in my best tier is Vegas, Washington, Florida.
Fair enough. Islanders, they brought back the fisherman, but like
no teal.
Everything else they did like meh.
Yeah, it looks good, but it doesn't get me excited, like I was saying.
Yeah. That's one of the ones that falls under fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else reverse retro? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I don't think so. I don't understand why people don't like Dallas's.
I think it's all right.
It's just boring.
I really like that specific Stars logo though.
Yeah, it does look good.
Oh, so, we didn't talk about it, but the Flyers, like just doing the absolute bare minimum.
But they're bringing back the pants.
The pants,
only for warm-ups.
Yeah, because the NHL probably
that's still dope.
Yeah, but
I think that's an NHL thing because it's not.
Yeah, maybe that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, what's funny is roller hockey plays in pants. Like you don't wear socks, you wear pants just like those.
All right, well, wear your Flyers sweatpants to the roller rink. And,
they're not sweatpants.
They look
different
like
material.
Sweatpants.
They do, but they're not. Moving on. Are we finally ready to talk goal songs?
Yeah, let's do it. Quick reaction to Carter Verhaeghe's goal song "Turn My Swag On."
It's great. Perfect.
It's perfect. No notes.
I agree.
Understood the assignment.
Yep.
What was Josh Mahura's goal song? If you know, please let us know.
Josh Mahura's goal song was apparently "A Real Life" by Greek Fire.
Okay.
That is a song that I heard for the first time when Josh Mahura scored a goal last night.
Good for them to be his.
I liked it.
And get played probably about 6 times this year at FLA Live Arena.
Wow, you're giving him 6 goals at home.
Actually, yeah, at home 3 times.
There you go. That's a little more accurate.
Yeah, I liked it when I heard it. I just don't know enough about the song itself to come to a conclusion about how good of a goal song it is.
And then Rudolph Balcers had that one song that goes like da 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 da.
Yeah, that
da, da, da,
boring
da,
goal
da,
song.
Da. How much longer should I go on?
Yeah,
I feel
you
like
shouldn't.
I could do the whole thing.
You should have stopped
bored.
after like the 4th note.
I'm already bored.
Boring goal song. I love Rudy Balcers. I think he has the potential to score a lot of goals. I'm not looking forward to hearing that song every time he does it.
Could have done "Rudy Can't Fail" by The Clash.
Or he could have done the Notre Dame fight song. I don't even like Notre Dame.
That would have been funny.
But like Rudolph Balcers like had the perfect opportunity to meme. Christmas season should be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like, or it should be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer all year. Like,
could be.
You had the opportunity to meme Rudolph Balcers and you didn't do it. You fail.
All right. So
did not understand the assignment.
For everybody else that we don't know their goal songs, because we already know Montour's is the Billy Joel song, whatever. Benny and
Sam Bennett's is Benny and the Jets. First of all, Sam Bennett understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brandon Montour, whatever.
So I made a Twitter thread of my suggestions for the rest of the players, and we're going to go through them real quick. We're going to start off with the captain, Alexander Barkov, and I picked the theme from SpongeBob SquarePants. What are your thoughts?
More accurately, I picked the theme from SpongeBob SquarePants.
And I co-signed it, and I posted it.
I disagree because SpongeBob SquarePants should be for Spencer Knight, who has Squidward somewhere on every single helmet he's ever owned.
Hold on, Alex. Goal songs, not goalie songs.
Well, I
Can
do
a
have
goalie
songs
score
for...
a goal? Yes, but like
I
the
do have
goalies
songs
don't
for
get
them.
goal songs.
I have songs for them.
You do?
Yeah.
Yes,
you do.
Either way, also if we're going memes, it's Who Let the Dogs Out.
I just feel like that's too on the nose.
That's the whole
And
point.
also, everybody's sick
I'm
of
sorry,
that song.
that's too on the
Everybody's
nose.
sick of that song. What are
But
the other ones
Benny
that are...
and the Jets isn't?
Or Turn My Swag On.
Well, no,
Turn My
that's a
Swag On
nickname.
isn't
That's
too
a
on the
nickname,
nose
so
because
that's
you at
different.
least have to know he's called Swaggy.
Right.
Fair.
The whole point of the SpongeBob theme song as the suggestion for Barkov is just the very beginning where it's Patchy the Pirate. Are you ready, kids? Aye, Captain. Get it? Because he's the captain.
Now I get it.
And the main reason
So
that I
you did not
co-signed
read my
this quickly,
semi-conscious text from last night. When
there
I
was the player from the Guardians that had this as their walk-up music, and they hit 2 walk-offs in the playoffs, like right after it's playing all across the ballpark. It was at home, so like
Plus,
it's got
like,
good
part
juju
of a good
right
goal
now.
song is being participatory.
Yeah.
So how great would it be if Barkov scores a goal? Over the PA, you get Patchy the Pirate going, "Are you ready, kids?" And then 18,000 people just going, "Aye, Captain."
That's great.
I
actually like that a lot.
How amazing would that be?
I want to move on, but
I don't even care that the rest of the song doesn't fit at all. I just want the like 18,000 people participating in those first 2 little call and response parts.
Yes. Speaking of moving on, Sam Reinhart, my heart will go on.
Yeah.
Get it? Because heart.
And also it's a song that everybody knows, and everybody's going to be like, near, far, wherever you are.
It's
in
a
the
little
arena.
too low energy for me.
But
it does certainly hit the participatory mark because everyone
bonus
knows
points
that song.
if he does the recorder version that was on all the vines.
Not happening.
That would be hilarious.
Not happening.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, there's others in this segment that are going to be in the not happening tier. But what do you guys think? Would you change it to something?
Yes, I don't know what. That's just a little bit too low energy for me.
Kickstart My Heart, maybe.
That's a good one.
Kickstart My Heart. Yeah. My brother actually. Hold on, my brother sent in a recommendation. He had you give love a bad name. Shot through the heart.
Shot through the heart.
Anything by the band Heart.
Yeah.
There you go. Matthew Tkachuk, Breaking the Law by Judas Priest. Great
Perfect.
song.
No.
Very
Great
fitting
song.
for his personality.
I was surprised this
very
didn't get any attention.
participatory.
This didn't get any attention, weirdly, because it's an awesome song, and it just fits him perfectly. They're not American, actually. They're from the UK, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
They are very not American.
But
Eats
perfect.
to Lustarin, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Perfect.
I just got that. When you sent that list last night, I was just like, oh, that's funny. Okay, so when TJ sent Alex and me this list of suggested goal songs, I was like on my way to sleep. And I don't mean I was like getting ready for bed. I mean I was in bed, like in the process of falling asleep.
I was having another glass of scotch.
So I did not pick up on the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star bit until just now when I'm awake.
Yeah, no, that one's fantastic.
That's good.
And the whole arena singing it.
Yeah.
Anton Lundell, Justin Bieber's Baby.
I think that's great. I think that's funny as hell.
The joke there just that he's a baby.
I mean, the people called him Baby Barkov, his youth. True. And also, like, it's a song that the opposing goalie gives him a goal.
Hold on. We would need to change Barkov's goal song in order for this to work. But if we really want to play off Baby Barkov, what we could do is make Barkov's goal song whatever, and then have Anton Lundell's goal song be the Kids Bop version of Barkov's goal song.
That would be a little bit I don't know.
That would be a deep cut, but that's really good.
Here, the underrated thing about this being a goal song, I think, is that if the opposing goalie gives up a goal to Lundell, they're going to be like, "Oh my God, now I have to listen to Justin Bieber."
That's true, unless it's I don't know. Austin Matthews and Justin Bieber are friends. I know Austin Matthews isn't a goalie, but like whatever.
Mm-hmm. Colin White, Eric Clapton's Cocaine. Obviously, this would never happen.
Yeah, obviously,
but it's a play on White.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything else.
Breaking Bad theme song.
Well, I don't know if meth people call white. It's more cocaine.
Walter White.
Oh, Walter White.
No, but like, no.
Could also do Seven Nation Army. That was the other one that I was playing with.
Because
just the white stripes.
Black or White by Michael Jackson.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of like B plus suggestions here. Nothing A. This is A plus. This one's a slam.
Wait, I have one for Colin White. That plays off his first name instead of his last name.
Okay.
Calling All Angels by Train.
That would be a horrible goal song, though.
It would be awful. But the plus side of using that is it actually does work for his first and last name because Colin, whatever. And then only white people listen to Train. That is such a white person band. Like, I'm sorry.
All right. As I alluded to, this one's an A plus slam dunk, and I bet it's his actual goal song, Ryan Lomberg, Mercy, by Kanye West, Pusha T, Big Sean, and 2 Chainz.
Gotta be. You're gonna have to do a little bit of censoring, but like, that's so good.
Well,
I don't think you even will.
Well, Colby tweeted out today that according to Verhage, Lomberg has by far the best goal song. So
that's a great song. So if that's his goal song,
that would be a fantastic goal song.
Yeah, everybody loves that song. Even Kanye West is like completely beyond the pale now, but everybody would still be like, yeah, Mercy goes. Especially since 3 of the 4 guys on it aren't him.
Yeah.
All right, Nick Cousins again would never happen. Sweet Home Alabama.
And if you don't get that joke, I'm sorry, we're not explaining it.
See,
but it is a great choice.
See, I think we should have gone with the Reigns of Castamere.
I don't know that.
Like,
song.
also
I don't
good,
understand the reference.
Also, like, that's too low energy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. When Reigns of Castamere comes on, you know shit's about to go down.
It's such a slow song, though.
It doesn't matter. Wait, TJ, you don't watch Game of Thrones?
No. Never seen Game of Thrones.
Reigns of Castamere is a great song, regardless of whether or not you've seen the show and are familiar with the lore behind the song. And I get it. Like, it's the same joke as Sweet Home Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Just lower energy.
It's the theme song for the house that was where 2 of the main characters were brother and sister and sleeping with each other the entire show.
All right, I guess we're explaining the joke.
Yes, we're explaining. Well, I had to explain the joke to TJ because, he doesn't know the
I didn't know it. And then, so Sweet Home Alabama. It's totally different reasons. Totally different reasons that we picked Sweet Home Alabama.
The same joke.
I know.
We also could have done Dixie.
Yeah, I guess so.
Same joke.
Yeah.
Same joke. I mean, this is all
anything by Leonard Skinner. Yeah. Same joke.
Alex, this one I want you to do.
2 Live Crew, Me So Horny, Patrick Hornquist.
Need I say more?
No notes. Understood the assignment. It'll never happen.
And you know that if he did do it, that oh man, what's his name?
Luther Campbell.
His name is Patrick
Luther Campbell
Hornquist.
Would be at every game. Because he's a hardcore Miami sports fan. He's been to a few Panthers games. Obviously, more of a football guy.
Yeah,
big U guy, big Miami guy. But yeah, this has got to be it. Like,
never gonna.
If he can't make it his choice, like maybe some other 2 Live Crew song.
Have you ever heard 2 Live Crew? They're all that.
Like the instrumental part. The instrumental part, I guess. The instrumental part of that song. Aaron Ekblad. There's a good debate here. The other choice was brought up by Jake. I went with Aaron Carter, Aaron's Party.
Yes.
I brought up another choice. That's a fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that one's perfect. No notes.
You brought up another choice by DMX.
Right. Yes, I did. That's a thing that I did. Okay, so preface. I'm a very big Aaron Carter fan. Aaron's Party, great choice. Very participatory, high energy. Understood the assignment. The other option that I posed would be DMX's extremely good, one of my favorite songs of all time, X Gon' Give It To You.
Great song.
Now, of course, in the song, it's the letter X because DMX often just went by X, rest in peace. But X in the context of Aaron Ekblad scoring a goal, it could be EK'(S), as in Ek is going to give it to you. As in the goal that he just scored.
I think people get that. I
yes,
don't know if
X gonna give it to you. Like that would also be a fantastic choice for Ekblad.
I mean, Aaron's party is a great meme. Ekblad just doesn't strike me as a person who's going to go with the meme. I don't
know. He might.
I think there's there's a pretty decent chance. Like, I think you've got it right with X going to give it to you.
Hold on. I just want to look something up very quickly.
Well, we're going to move on unless it's
while you're doing that, this one is not an inspired choice.
I like this
Forsling, Waterloo by ABBA.
Aaron Ekblad was 4 years old when Aaron's party was released.
So that would have put him in the prime demographic, honestly.
Not quite. He's that would still be a little young.
But yeah,
Waterloo,
I like it. I think that one's fun.
I don't get it.
He's Swedish.
That's
really it. Yeah, that's really it. He's Swedish. I couldn't really think of anything with Gustav or Forsling, or I don't know if he even has like any.
There are
nicknames.
No songs about geese that we could have used,
or just the background,
or like a different ABBA song, like Dancing Queen.
That would have been funny as hell too. I mean, I guess you could have used the background noise from Unnamed Goose Game.
That wouldn't be a good goal song.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, the only other thing
I'm just gonna look up songs about geese real quick and see if anything.
All right, well, we'll come back to it though.
This one again, not super inspired. Radko Gudas, I went with Every Time We Touch because he's always hitting people.
I mean, I think honestly, it's pretty solid, just because the song it's just so opposite of what you expect when you think of Radko the Butcher Gudas, and then you know, Every Time We Touch and hits I think it's pretty good.
High energy would definitely be in its favor.
Oh yeah, the beats per minute on that song are insane.
The other one I was thinking of was Hit Me With Your Best Shot, but I went with Every Time We Touch.
No, Every Time We Touch.
Wait, hold on. There's apparently an actual song with words about Untitled Goose Game.
That might just be a fan song though that people wouldn't be familiar with.
I don't think it is.
Are we about to play it on the air?
Yeah, we're about to get sued. We're about to get copyright taken down the episode.
Maybe
no one's hearing it.
I can't tell.
All right. I'm going to move on real quick.
It's called Honk Honk and Goose.
Mark Stahl, I went with Knocking on Heaven's Door, Guns N' Roses version.
Honestly, you should have just for the brand, just not given Mark Stahl a goal song.
God.
This one was mean. This one was mean. I will say that. He's old. That's the joke. My alternative choice would have been Neil Young's Old Man, but that wouldn't have been a good goal song.
Dust in the Wind?
I get it, yeah.
Helena by My Chemical Romance.
Dead by My Chemical Romance.
Alex, Helena is about a funeral.
I know that song.
Okay.
All right, Lucas Carlson, another ABBA song, Take a Chance on Me.
Yes, I love it.
Why? Why are we putting no effort into the Swedes?
No, it's because we're desperate for the Panthers to want them to want to play.
Take a Chance on Me actually works for Carlson beyond being by ABBA.
Yeah, and because he's a guy that AHL.
Because
NHL.
the Panthers need to use him.
Yeah, I mean, my other choices would have been something like Son of a Sailor by Jimmy Buffett, not really a good goal song.
Something from Swedish House Mafia?
Yeah, maybe. But I'll go with ABBA because I prefer them. And then Matt Kierstead, this one was really mailed in. Theme from The Office.
I mean, he is a huge fan of The Office.
Oh my God.
Though I think if he had his choice, he would rather have Lazy Scranton by Michael Scott. That at least has some words in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have his choice. Hold on. We should be able to know what Matt Kierstead's goal song is because it's probably on the post that the Charlotte Checkers made about the Checkers goal song.
I'm sure it is, but that's not as fun. I mean, Lucas Carlson had one too. All right. Maybe my favorite actual song on this list, other than Breaking the Law versus this, it would be really close. Sergei Bobrovsky, Boney M's Rasputin. Awesome song. Awesome song.
I love it.
It mentions Russia, lots of Russia references, and it's just a banger. It's just an awesome song.
I mean,
and then
other option could have been Beatles Back in the USSR.
Yeah,
that would have been good.
That would have been solid.
I take it back. I don't think Matt Kierstead was included in the Checkers post because he wasn't playing in the game
because he was hurt
when they posted it.
And then the last one,
Spencer Knight.
Kid Cudi, Day and Night. Easy.
No, Knight Rider theme song.
But he's not old enough to want to do the Knight Rider theme song.
This is all about the meme.
It is not all about the meme. This entire segment is a mix between genuine suggestions and jokes.
Fair.
Anything that can fit both of those is perfect.
I think Day and Night does.
I agree. Though that feels less like funny.
Yeah, but it works for me. I like it.
Yeah, it's a great choice.
It's a song he's likely to enjoy also.
And for anyone who doesn't get it, it's because the third word of the song title Day and Night is a homonym for Spencer Knight's last name, which is also Knight.
Okay, which one was your favorite of all of those? Which is your favorite for it to be their goal song?
Twinkle Little Star.
All right, Jake.
That's your favorite
yes,
of that entire list.
It just makes me laugh so much.
It would be great. It would be pretty awesome. Jake?
So now I have to either remember what all of them are or actually look up your list.
Honorable mention to Aaron's Party. That one made me laugh really hard.
Yeah, I was like, Aaron's Party was the first one that came into my mind, but I'm not sure I would actually say it's my absolute favorite. When did you actually tweet this? Oh, there
I'll send it.
Blah, 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 blah.
I would just get so pumped up with Breaking the Law that I'll say that's my favorite. My favorite joke is the Nick Cousins one.
I think Aaron's Party is actually my favorite of this list.
All right,
genuinely.
So Ekblad, if that's not your goal song, go ahead and change it. And I think that pretty much wraps up this episode. Make sure to rate us 5 stars on the SoundCloud, the Apple Music Store, the iTunes Store, while you're spending 99 cents on Kid Cudi's Day and Night, as many of you probably did.
Night spelled with an N, just in case anyone's unaware.
But it is Nite because it sounds like night, but it's actually not spelled. Whatever. Rate us 5 stars on SoundCloud.
Spencer Knight's last name starts with a K.
I love this. Oh God!
All right, we're getting 5 stars on
SoundCloud.
We're getting out of here. Later.
Oh, right. I have the